lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real, might get you canceled. The whole system need to dismantle. Coppers treated like the utmost wanted. Tryna rule the block but don't know what goes on it. News got a story with a new take on me. Carrying out the window with the screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my burn 95 degrees and I can't get sunburn. Wonder when your government don't make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my please, Brad, I earned that. 400 years, how you still ain't learned that? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out.
Yes, it is a war out there on so many different levels. Welcome everyone back to another episode of Lancescurv. I just want to acknowledge those who have come in early. Yes, indeed. Melissa, yes. Nina Simone, Diane, and Fetty. Yes. We're going to do it again tonight. We're going to tighten up on these topics, and we're going to talk about the things we need to talk about. And I want to say, just as an announcement, Starlink has come to Ghana. Now, we use technology in the revolution. It's not like I'm somebody who's hung up on any type of status or whatever, but this will make the show better. Less buffering, better streams, unlimited uploads and downloads where I can get more done, as opposed to buying it as you go along, your gigabytes. So, you know how I like to get down on the content. It's just going to be a whole lot more coming. It's due to get here toward the middle of September, maybe earlier, but that's okay. I'll have internet just as good as anything that's in the States, because it's a little iffy out here sometimes, and I'm up in the mountains. So I just want to pass that on to you. Thank you all for your support, because it's you all who have helped me to get to these points, because I'm an older man living on a limited income out here. So it really helps. And just to even share the videos and suggest to me titles of things you want to talk about. This is what I do. This is what I love. This is my passion. This is not for anything else other than what I do it for, because if you knew me before the internet came into my life, I was just like this from way back, teenage years, single digit years. I'm built to be this way and to think this way. So this isn't a game for me. It isn't like, well, let me get on YouTube and find something to do so I can make some money. Because really and truly, the money out here ain't as good as it used to be, right? For most people. For some it is. When you speak like me, you ain't getting it unless you do the secret handshake thing or take the oath, or want to be an undercover agent, that when them people tell you what to say because you won the trust of the people and they'll follow you now, they're doing that. There's a lot of stuff I know about out there. Mad Guns forever. Man, he's the greatest of all times. Muhammad Ali says it himself. Mad Guns has been with me for a long time, just like Fetty, just like Diane, just like everybody else. Melissa, Nina Simone, we're the greatest here. We came here early, and we're going for a first-round knockout. Yes, we are. Colorism. We're talking about it. We have to talk about this, because let me tell you something. Don't think it's just an American thing. That bad boy is out here in Africa just as bad. Just as bad. Unbelievable. It is. Let me know how the sound is coming out. And you know, because I had a little technical glitch. I got to send some of this equipment out, so I'm working around it in a kind of crude way, so the sound doesn't sound the same way on my recordings or the older shows where I use the right mic and equipment. So just let me know at some point if you're hearing me and hearing me well. Okay. Of course, I wrote down some notes and I'm going to read them off. And that's just going to be the skeleton of what we're going to talk about. And at any point, anybody wants to come on in, feel free to do so. Matter of fact, what I'll do, I'll just put the link in there from now. I do want to get these facts out, which we all know what it is. Xavier, welcome on in. You right on time. So I'm going to shoot this link out there. Just have it hanging in the air. And that way, when you want to jump in, you can jump in. Even though if I still might be reading off some things, it may be a little pause, but it's like double Dutch. You just sit on the side, rock back and forth. When you see the opening, jump right on in. I want to get down tonight. I want us to have some participation also, you know? So there is the link to come into the show. Anyway, let's say it this way. Let me read off what I wrote, and then we're just going to wrap between each point. Colorism, a form of discrimination based on skin tone, has been a pervasive issue within the Black community for generations. And I kind of put it out there like this, so somebody would say, well, what's colorism? We know what it is. I know you all know what it is, but there's always that person who get in the comment section, I don't know what it is, you didn't explain. Well, I'm explaining. We're going to take it from kindergarten up to graduate school, right? Its roots can be traced back to slavery, when lighter-skinned Black people were often favored and given preferential treatment due to their closer resemblance to the white slave masters. This historical preference for lighter skin has been deeply embedded in the collective psyche of Black people, leading to a complex and damaging system of self-hate and division within families and communities. The origins of colorism are closely linked to the institution of slavery, where lighter-skinned slaves were often given more desirable positions in the household, while darker-skinned slaves were relegated to the fields. That means you have the house Negro, in the field NIGG, whatever. You know, that's what they would bend it around. This division was a deliberate tactic used by slave masters to create discord and mistrust among the enslaved, weakening their unity and resistance. Over time, this preference for lighter skin became internalized within the Black community, leading to the belief that lighter skin was not only more attractive, but also indicative of higher intelligence, better opportunities, and greater social acceptance. As Black people were forcibly assimilated, hold on, I'm about to drop this spoon here. Hold on, y'all. Right, okay. As Black people were forcibly assimilated into society that revered whiteness, the idea that lighter skin was superior became deeply ingrained. This belief persisted even after slavery was abolished, as Black people continued to be subjected to systemic racism and colorism. The notion that lighter skin was more desirable was passed down through generations, creating a cycle of self-hate and division that continues to this very day. Within Black families, colorism often manifests in subtle but significant ways. Lighter-skinned family members may be favored or treated more kindly, while darker-skinned members are often subjected to harsher treatment. Now, let me just add this in for those non-melanated people, non-African people, non-Black people, whatever you, copper-colored, whatever you want to call yourself. This is not the rule for everyone. Every Black person does not suffer from this or perpetuates this, as they have defeated what took the slave masters many, decades, generations, centuries to do. So don't think that all of us are like this. A lot of us are beyond it, and we have conquered it. And you can ask anybody in this chat room how they feel, right? Let me just see here. Brownie Ellie, welcome on in. I had my head turned the other way, and I didn't see the chat room because I'm looking over my notes and whatnot, right? How much of this did I read already? Okay, yeah, let me just say this part. Within Black families, colorism manifests in subtle but significant ways. Lighter skinned family members may be favored or treated more kindly, while darker skinned members are often subjected to harsher treatment. This favoritism can be seen in the way parents may praise the beauty of a lighter skinned child while neglecting to affirm the attractiveness of a darker skinned child. These seemingly small actions can have a profound impact on the self esteem and identity of the darker skinned child, leading them to internalize feelings of inferiority and inadequacy. I'm going to tell you a story after I finish putting these notes out, how real this thing could be. And it messed up a young lady's life from when she was a young teen all the way until she passed away heartbroken and feeling unattractive. And I always had a crush on her when I was younger. She was so beautiful. Her skin, yes, it made it even more beautiful. But what I'm saying is that she was just a beauty no matter what skin tone you put on her. And yes, I dated lighter skinned females, darker skinned females, but they were all black, right? So I didn't have that thing going on with me. But I also knew that in dealing with a darker complected sister, chances are she had to deal with this. Now, whether she let it become internalized or not, depended on her upbringing, depended on her knowledge of this thing and her esteem. So I knew I had to keep my feelers out to see if this thing had bothered her. You know, I didn't know who she was. I mean, you're meeting somebody, you start dating them, you get to know them. So I was always careful. And if I detected something within one of our sisters that I may have dated, not always did it get intimate. I always wanted to be nurturing. I always wanted to remove the stigma of that foolishness that a lot of them had to go through. You know, and it goes through to the hair too. I mean, well, I'm gonna do a separate show on that, right? Oh, you got some good hair. Oh, so what does it mean? The strong hair that resists gravity is bad hair. So you want dog hair, like the slave master? Don't let me go off. But we have to really know that this thing is still alive and well. Look at the bleaching cream, y'all. I was out here, out on the road, talking to somebody that I know. Another young lady walked up, and she knew the young lady I was already talking to, right? And I'm always asking questions and vibing, and even answering questions about America and my upbringing. So she interrupted. She didn't interrupt in a rude way. She said, "Oh, excuse me." I said, "No, take your time. I want to hear what you have to say too, if I could be nosy." So she whipped out some bleaching cream, but they mask the bleaching cream now. No, they tell you what it is, right? But they soften it. Some companies, I remember one called Fair and White. Fair and White. And you know, they say, "Oh, I'm fair skinned." So what's unfair skin? Pull it backwards. What's unfair skin? Tracy J, welcome on in. Yes. Willie Rivers, I almost missed you. This chat room is scrolling on up. But yeah. So this one was it said it how did you say it? It blends and evens out skin tones. But this person knew good and darn well what it was. Let me tell you something. Throughout the Caribbean also, and I know some people in Jamaica that have it down to a science, where the chemical that's contained in the skin whitener, they know the exact name, and they've gone through the shelf of the so-called beauty supply store, right? You got to go there for beauty. You got to go there to straighten your hair. You got to go there to lighten your skin, you know? But they don't call it that in the white neighborhood. They say hair salon or salon, right? But it's beauty for us, because if we don't indulge in the practices that are in those so-called beauty salons, then we're not beautiful. And that's sick. But I knew some Jamaican females that had it down to a science. I forgot what the exact chemical, and it may be more than one, but the strongest one that causes your pigmentation to get washed out. And so they went through every product. Well, this one has 2.5, 2.6. Well, this one has 3. No, this one has 4.5. But have you used it? No. Well, this one has more. And it's cheaper because it's a new brand. Well, let's try it out. And the other practice too. And I got a whole lot more notes to read, but we're going to sweet. I saw Sweetberry's name, and I'm like, we're going to sweet. Yes. Let me scroll over. Yeah, I acknowledge you, Diana. I just saw your name again. I said, oh, I hope I don't miss her, anybody. But yeah, and then they put the clear wrap over their skin so they can sweat. And then they stay out the sun, walking around with umbrellas on a sunny day, not wanting to go out in the sun, all because of this twisted, sick thing that many of us have down in one of the major intersections here in Accra. What area is it? It's not too far from where the president's equivalent to the White House, the Jubilee House. It's about a mile up from the road. Now, next time when I go down there, I'm going to take some photos. And I think I did, and I put it up on one social media platform. But I'm going to make sure to be on point with all these things again. And I really do want to go out in the street and set up my tripod and ask people who are here these questions so you can hear the answers. But in this intersection, there was a huge billboard. I mean, this was like a roundabout kind of intersection where you go around, and there was no stoplights, but you kind of slow down and whatever, So I gotta say, this thing was like about, no lie, about 30 feet, 35 feet tall, like a sideways billboard. And they had a woman's face with a line drawn down the middle of the same woman. On one side, she was noticeably darker. And the other side, she was straight white. And what was the caption below it? Oh, beauty is just a bottle or a jar away from, they said the name of the product. So what are you saying? That the brown woman is ugly and the white woman is whatever? I mean, this is putting it in the heads of the children. And many of them feel down on themselves when they're of a darker complexion. But then again, at the same time, you get the white women who are at the beach all the time. Look at my tan. I tan pretty good. Shooting stuff in their lips to get bigger lips. They're telling you your lips are ugly. What's going on with that? Getting the BBLs. The black women got the natural BBL. Even when you're skinny, you got butt. But butt is not a measure of your value and your worth. And I was telling a sister that today. I said, too many people are caught up in this social media standard, and they're going crazy with it, and it does not matter. You're wasting time. Look at the beauty on the inside. Look, people, that's corny, man. I know you, SCURV, back in the day, man, you was getting it. And yes, I was. But I always showed respect, and I never took nothing from a woman that she did not want to give. Never disrespectful. Never use nobody. Let them know the deal. You understand? Be straight up. Yes, I'm single. And I do know a lot of young ladies who I keep company with. But if you go out with me tonight, it's going to be all about you and nothing else. I'm going to make you have a good time. I'm going to treat you with respect. I'm not going to demand nothing out of you that you don't want to give. And it's not about that. Let's make some memories and have a good time. You're beautiful, and I'm happy to have you by my side. Whatever happens after that, that's on you. That doesn't mean I'm going to say no now, but let's go out and have a good time. You know what I mean? And see, like I said in, was it another article that I wrote? Something I wrote. See, a lot of our darker skinned sisters will get more requests after midnight on their phone. Hey, baby, can I come by and see you? But these guys who are brainwashed with this thing, that lighter is better. Oh, man, she a red bone. I don't date nobody dark. Look, your preference is your preference. But black is black to the bone. Huh? How sick we are. How sick we are. You're telling on yourself. Let me get back to this thing here, right? Is this the way we're going to do it? Okay, I read that part already. I don't mind reading stuff over again. If I read 2 sentences out of it and I got to go through the whole page, no problem. The bias can also influence decisions regarding marriage and relationships. In many Black families, there is a preference for lighter skinned partners, with the belief that marrying someone lighter will produce children with more desirable features. And what's that? More desirable. And they don't say this outright, but they say it in whispers. And they try to justify it. I know many people have said or heard this. Well, you know, I'm not against her if she's dark or anything, but, you know, if he or she is a little lighter, you know, they may not have to go through much when they get older because you know how racist is. Look, you just as twisted as the racist system. You hold your head tall, no matter what your complexion is, right? Because to flip it, it works both ways. Because of this thing called colorism, you'll have the lighter skin, let's say female. And I caught a lot of stuff, and maybe I was a little, I'm in Africa now, so I'm a little more colored in me, got more color in me, and I'm Black to the bone. But you'll have that group of darker complected females who don't understand what's working on their mind, and they'll hate on the lighter skinned female because that's more desirable in society or in their family. And they heard, you know, oh, you get teased, darky, you crusty, you know, you dusty. You know what I mean? There's one girl, I will never mention anybody's name, but she was so pretty. And she was so rich in her complexion. And the guys used to tease her, the girls used to tease her. I know that had a lot to do with how she dealt with things later on. Well, before the school time was over, a couple of the fellas gathered together, and we were going to share gifts with each other on that last day of elementary school, which was the 6th grade. And they put together a little package for her. It was a big package. It was weighed down with a couple stones in it, so she thought it was something like really nice. And she kept opening these boxes, Wouldn't you know what was in there? Soap. And everybody laughed. And she threw it down and ran out of the classroom crying. And that was the last day. And from what I heard, it took her years to get over that embarrassment. But you know what? She got into modeling. And although she wasn't a top international or national model, she did good work. She was very beautiful without adding or subtracting anything. And when I saw her again, many years later, I didn't just bring that up, but that was my last memory. And we talked, and, you know, she was like, you know, Lance, I had to get over so much coming up because it was in my own family that I come to school. And then one day it happened where she had this odor on her, right? And I don't know she was always clean, but she had this particular odor. It was on her clothes or something. Oh, now she's not dusty and black anymore. She's dusty, black, and stink. And every day after that, in the school year, she would stink. You see what I mean? That's so wrong. But she learned to deal with it, and it drove her to being very confident, successful, and level-headed, because she was breaking this whole thing down to me and what we're talking about now. I would love to find her. I know her name. I'm going to look for her. Her name, both her names are common, but the combination of both her names are not common. You see what I mean? Like her first name is like a common name. Last name, but you're not going to, you know, like me, you can find me easy. You've heard Lance before, but what the heck is a scurvin? Or like I shorten it to say SCURV, right? Here it is. One of the most prevalent examples of the impact of colorism on Black children is the doll test, a psychological experiment conducted in the 1940s by psychologists Kenneth and Mamie Clark. In the test, Black children were presented with 2 dolls, one black and one white, and asked which doll they preferred. The overwhelming majority of the children chose the white doll, indicating a deep-seated belief that lighter skin was more attractive and desirable. This experiment highlighted the devastating effects of colorism on the self-esteem of Black children and underscored the pervasive nature of this issue within the Black community. The legacy of colorism extends beyond the Black community and affects other races as well. In professional settings, for example, lighter-skinned Black people may be perceived as more competent or trustworthy than their darker-skinned counterparts. Even when the qualifications are identical, this bias is not only unfair, but also perpetrates the notion that lighter skin is somehow more acceptable or valuable in society. The psychological impact of colorism on darker-skinned individuals can be profound. Many grow up feeling inferior or less attractive, which can lead to a range of emotional and mental health issues, including low self-esteem, depression, and anxiety. These feelings are often exacerbated by the treatment they receive from their own families, who may be unconsciously reinforce the idea that they are less valuable or worthy of love and respect. And so this is how, and the men go through it too, right? But the women especially. And so there are many women who have absorbed this treatment and feel as though they don't deserve love. And guess what? And this is a very sensitive topic, so I have to maybe over-explain myself, because there's gonna be somebody who doesn't understand or think I'm coming down. But many, not all, but many who really have low self-esteem from the colorism issue in their family and from the root, any attention they get from men, lots of times, they will be easier to give in because their esteem because of this is lower. Now, I'm not saying every dark complected woman is easy. So please, y'all, I'm not seeing anybody here in the chat room. There's always some knucklehead with a dumbass comment. You see what I mean? Landon Price, welcome on in. David Vincent, yes, sweet chocolate. I love the sweet chocolate. I love it so much. I'm out here in the motherland. Not that I'm using that as an excuse to run around crazy. No, but I'm just saying the vibration overall and the conversations I have here where I can enlighten people. Not that I know everything, but I can enlighten them about what it's like on my side of the Atlantic, and they can tell me what's about going on over here. You see what I mean? I understand about the word Black, but I want most people to understand who do use it. You know, James Brown said that I got no problem with it, you know, and I know we are not actually like the screen, any Black part of the, you know, it's not like it's black and it's perfect. White people are pink, right? But it's an ideology and a way of thinking. It's such a strong statement, you know, because we came up with that. You know, we were called Negro and, you know, all this and all of that. Candy Kittens. Yes, Candy Kitten says, let me put this up on the screen. I'm going to start putting this up on the screen. Sorry if I missed anything else. As a community, we have normalized this dysfunctional behavior and labeled it as having a preference or better than or good hair. We have internalized their mental illness and self-hatred. All I can say is they say on Sunday morning in church, hallelujah. I'm saying that funny, but I mean it serious though. You're right, Candy Kittens. You're right. It's become so normalized and passed down. I've seen other races of people use it back on us, right? Big time. Okay, here we go. Okay, greetings, everyone. YouTube etiquette is all caps are reserved for content creator and the channel. Exactly. Right. You're right. You're right. You're right. We all have a say so here when it comes time to open up the lines, but it's right. And even I feel guilty as the person who's creating this particular show and I use all caps. But you're right. You're right. Yeah. Exactly. Reese, welcome on in. Yeah. I love my complexion. It's taken my whole life to love it. But you know what? That's not your fault that it's taken your whole life, because we were born in a place that demonizes our complexion. You know what I mean? And so just to add this in, I was always raised and taught to love myself, to love my race, my black people. And for me, when I was younger, shortcuts were always offered to me in the system, even though I felt the effects of it being a black man in certain incidents, and many times I was offered the preferential treatment in little things. And I was the one who wasn't going for it. I mean, I didn't earn that. No, I'm not doing that. What about so and so who's better than me? You know what I mean? There were two magazine covers when I was doing bodybuilding that I missed out on. One from a dude who was a closet homosexual who actually had the connections and could set me up to be on that back cover of Iron Man magazine back in 1982. Right? The other one, of course, during the show, phone rings. Okay, they hung up during the show. I don't know who this is, but they're calling me on video in the middle of a show. Isn't that something? They're going to get declined every time. They get a thrill. Ooh, I heard my phone. I wrote the Lancescurv show when he was doing the show. It doesn't stop me. But anyway, the second one was opportunity to have this magazine cover, the back cover actually, because we weren't world beaters, but we were young and upcoming. There was another guy, I won't say his name. I could, but I won't say it. He was much better than me. He's about 3 years older than me. He had better genetics, everything like that. But they didn't want to put him on because not only, and I heard about it, and this is how the thing worked back in the day, especially in bodybuilding, right? Because they always wanted to have the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and somebody's texting me saying, hello, bro, like I can really leave. Can't do it. I'll answer them later on. But other than that, if you were black, they prefer you not to be, darker complected with strong African features. So they were asking me, like, Lance, are you going to maintain this shape in another month? Because after this competition next month, and I know you're not going in, we can get you in because you just won the Teenage Nationals, and it'd be great to have you on the back cover. And I was in a mood. I was in a mood. And I said, well, what about my friend over here? He's won more shows than me. He looks better than me. He has a better body than me. Why don't we push him? And he didn't talk to me no more. The guy that wanted to put me on the cover. And so I tore into him because I know this. And for those, and not to go too far into this, but Joe Weider, as racist as he was, he didn't focus on a lot of black bodybuilders. He was forced to because some of them were so good, right? But he preferred not to. That's a whole different topic. I'm sorry. But that's to say how this colorism thing has really affected other races also. Now, all going down through South America, all going on down to the Caribbean, Central America, they got this colorism thing going on. You bring home somebody black, and you're one of those people down there in South America who may not be black, they don't like it. All through the Caribbean, all through Latin America, this thing is big. The only thing that can negate you temporarily is if you're with them and you're a darker complexion and you got a whole lot of money or pull or power, then they'll look the other way for a little while. But they're never going to stop looking at you as to who you are in their mind. You see what I mean? And how dare we have to go, Libby Lou, welcome in. You're on time. A little late, but you're on time. We didn't get cooking all the way yet, right? But yeah, this is how it is. Now let's go on the other end of it. We just spoke about that, but I wrote this down. On the other end of the spectrum, darker skinned individuals who feel the sting of colorism may develop feelings of jealousy or resentment toward their lighter skinned counterparts. This can lead to strained relationships as the darker skinned individuals may attempt to sabotage or ostracize the lighter skinned family members, classmates, or co-workers. This cycle of jealousy and resentment further perpetuates the division within the Black community and underscores the destructive power of colorism. Isn't that something? Now, on a male level, I caught it from a lot of people, right? Now, I'm not some albino looking whatever. There's a time when people, oh, you high yellow. Yeah, I can say that, but I'm always getting the sun. So I'm a little, but when I was doing bodybuilding and there were guys around, it wasn't just the body they were envious of. You'd be surprised. And let's go off into a different road for a second. There are people to this very day who I know here in the motherland who weren't born here, right? And their venom comes out. Well, you speak proper and you're fair skinned and you're well built. Why do dudes size up other dudes when that shouldn't even matter? It shouldn't even matter with the females. But you got, I was going to say the B word. And when I do so, I'm going to say it, but I'm going to explain and give myself a disclaimer before I say it. The B word in my book, in my personal dictionary, is not relegated to sex. It doesn't mean if I say the B word that I'm talking about women, because I would never do that, right? Unless you stab me or something. You know what I mean? Unless you threw a brick at my wife or something like that. I'm going to say it. You know what I mean? You deserve everything then. But the mentality of bitch assness is not relegated to a sex. Because these days, from what I find, honest and true, it's more men who are bitchs than women these days. Butthurt, envious, I'm not saying all men. But I caught it when I was younger. There were neighbors who, of course, they were grown. They had their mortgages, their cars. Here I am, a teenager, going to school, lifting weights, boxing, and enjoying life and getting girlfriends. And they didn't like me. They didn't mind me when I was younger. But when you cross, you check off all the check boxes on desirability, one of those boxes, lots of times from these old school coons who swear by colorism in their actions, but they'll never say it. They don't like you for that. They don't like you for that. So I'm glad that there's more of an appreciation for our darker complected brothers and sisters, because I didn't like what I was receiving lots of times. I see that. Magulous. I'll blame you, right? No, but nobody had a gun to my head, right? No, but I want that to be clear, because if I say that word, somebody's going to run, oh, he calling women that. No. On the Lancescurv show, the word bitch, it's not sex, it's a mentality. But I still will never really call a woman that, because they really won't understand. Don't try to clean it up. Don't try to explain it away. So if I ever have to use it in the future, remember what I said today and stick up for me. Don't leave me out in the cold, right? But yeah, you can catch it anyway. And then, oh yeah, let me tell you. With my wife that I had my 3 children with, my 3 daughters, and I have another daughter before marriage, and I was a little bit out there, right? We all kind of catch one like that. But with my ex-wife, right, we had 3 daughters. I got 4 daughters altogether. But those 3 daughters, they were all from the same mother who I married. I didn't marry the other one. My first daughter with my ex-wife was born, and she was from the Caribbean, right? From Trinidad and Tobago. I didn't know how much colorism was down there. I knew it was in Jamaica, but God, dog. And they act like it ain't there. Yo, we are messed up. So here we are walking down Liberty Avenue in Richmond Hill, Queens on a real cold day. And my daughter was wrapped up in the stroller. She had just recently been born. Not like we took her out the hospital the first day, had her out in the cold, but she was inside a lot and everything. And so this is one of the first times we decided to walk up the avenue, and she was well bundled. And we took turns pushing the stroller. So I'll never forget it. We were coming up from the Lefferts Boulevard A train area, down Liberty Avenue, heading toward 134th Street where I lived, and we get down to 126th Street. 126th Street on the what side of that was? Well, it's the side going down away from Lefferts Boulevard before we cross the street. And there was a next door neighbor who worked a job where she was gone for the week, a living job, and she's home for the weekend. And she was good friends. Well, my ex-wife was good friends with that girl's sister, right? And she says, "Oh, you have the baby here. I heard you had the baby. Let me see the baby." And I'm like, "Well, it's kind of cold out here. Come by later. You live next door." "Well, I'm going to be going all night. I'll be able to come tomorrow." "No, please, 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 please." So my ex-wife was so glad to pull back and show her the baby, my daughter. And she looked and she said, "Oh, she's so pretty." But her face didn't say that. And she just walked off. And every time she saw me or my ex-wife, she acted like we didn't exist. And she made a phone call and said, "Oh, the baby almost looked white." And then they got mad. A whole lot of them got mad. And I got mad. I'm like, "Y'all look, I knew this kind of thing was there, but it made me angry. I mean, look at this. This is crazy." Let me switch over to the other computer. Gina E, welcome on in. Oh yeah, you came in at the right time. As a Grenadian, with Trinidad being our sister island, I can affirm the amount of colorism and hair hate. That's a good one. I'm gonna use that exists on the island. This is why a lot of men go for the coolies. Yes. And for those who don't know what coolies mean, the Indian women, pretty much the East Indian women, if I'm correct. What's the term? Do they use the term white liver down there? Mad guns? You know what that is, right? If you don't know, I'll tell you what it is here. White liver, when a black man gets with an Indian woman and she gets turned out. And they got all these terms. But I couldn't believe how they reacted. And they all got about 10 of them. That news traveled. Yeah. Now, me and my ex-wife ain't together no more, but all my daughters went down to Trinidad and Tobago, and they came back to tell me different experiences. Because my ex-wife is of a darker complexion, of a real dark complexion, right? Mrs. SCURV is dark brown, right? So I don't have no problem with that. I all the blackness in the world. And again, I've never discriminated against the lighter skin sisters, because some people say, they pick one over the other. I never did that. It just so happened that that's the way it was. For people who really know me, right? But the lighter daughter, the first one, and the last one we had in 2002, they're the same complexion. My middle daughter with her is a lot darker, right? And they had different experiences down there on how they were treated, and don't be from America and speak with an American accent. That's a whole other thing. I didn't realize that until I left out of America for good. Even here, there's certain things, but it's worse in the Caribbean, I'd say, because they're right up under America, can travel to America easier. You have a satellite dish, you snatching all the signals that's playing in America. And everybody wants to be so Americanized and bleach their skin. And when they go back down, they want to go back down lighter. Even if they're cleaning toilet bowls, when they go back down after living in America for a couple of years, they want to show out. The hair got to be straight. The skin got to be white. You better have jewelry hanging off of every finger and toe. You see what I mean? You got to show out because of the status. That's right, Gina E. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. I was going to say, I love me some juice. I don't want to sound like I'm getting nasty. But why not? I love some black juice. Yes, I do. Take it whatever way you want to take it, damn it. When you love your people, right? Breaking free from the cycle of colorism requires a conscious effort to unlearn the deeply ingrained beliefs and biases that have been passed down through generations. There's 10 points that I put down, right? Okay, first of all, you gotta acknowledge the issue. The first step to healing is recognizing that colorism exists and acknowledging its impact on individuals and families. If you're in denial about it, then how you gonna heal from it? And we got 9 more to go, but I want to talk about this story before it gets on too long. I want to speak about a young lady, and I'm gonna tell enough of the story to make the point, but I ain't gonna tell it in super detail, even though she's not with us anymore. Right? Let me just take a sip of this juice, y'all. Give me a second. Just give me like 10 seconds of silence. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. I drank so much juice and drank so much water last night. I didn't sleep at all good. Last night, I couldn't get to sleep at all. uh, see, yeah, before I say the story, you're right, Fetty. You're right. You're right. Let me put that up. Tracy J, vice versa. Most darker skinned dudes think light skinned dudes are soft. It's true. I never walked around with a chip on my shoulder. I was always soft spoken and just want to laugh and have fun. And the people who knew me. They never tried me that way. But there's always somebody that's from the next neighborhood over that sees you and don't really know you, and we gonna try you. So I'll save those stories for other people who have witnessed what has happened with me. Let them tell it. I ain't telling it because people are gonna say, "Oh, you adding on to it." You know what I mean? You're right, Diane. You're right. I love them too. I love everybody here. We can be ourselves here. That's the way it's got to be. But yeah, so a lot of people found out. They found out. But yes, I grew up with this family from young, from elementary school. One of my best friends at the time, we both loved to draw. His family originated from the South. And, part of that mass migration from the South to the North, which I think was like from the early 40s, maybe, to 60s and beyond, was where you come to, Chicago, Detroit, New York. In Detroit, you can work, with the automobile industry, many opportunities, city jobs in Chicago and New York. And there's a better education and more closeted racism, even though it wasn't overt up north like that. So that's the household that he came from, my good friend. And I got to know his brothers, got to know his mother, his father, and the sisters. And we would always do our homework together, either over my house or over his house. But since his house was closer to the school, you had to pass his house to come by me. A lot of times I just was over there. On the weekends, I was over there. We playing ball on the weekends, softball, and just hanging out, going here and there. And as a family, because, my older brother was older than me and he was drugged out. So there was nobody there except my parents, which was cool. I loved it. But to get around a family, we had fun and, I spend the night over there and everything. And so they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what they were saying. Being so young, there was no venom behind it. But one of the sisters, who was the darkest one, they used to always call her Rat. Dark rat, darky, dusty, musty. But there was always some terminology with the complexion. Put the lights on so we can see blankety blank. Or if you're in the room right now, smile so we can see you. Well, them cruel jokes. And after a while, it never stopped. It was a way of life with them. Even I think the mother wasn't aware of that because she grew up in that and she didn't know how hurtful it can be. So she said something to echo in the children. And it wasn't venomous, but it was almost like a nickname. And so when the mother said it, I saw that it really affected her a whole lot. Close-knit family, a lot of dysfunctions. Most Black families have some measure of dysfunction. But they were raised in a very strict Christian household, very, very strict. Although, the boys, it was 4 girls, 4 boys, all the age ranges, right? And the boys they had the attic, right? So they had the attic, and there was one brother who had the back part to himself, and the other 3, they had the open part where their beds were lined up, big TV and everything. So we hung out, did our homework, watched TV, old Benny Hill, old shows, Maxwell Smart, and the 70s, and we're hanging out and everything. So one night, or one evening, I think it was a Saturday, and it was early, it wasn't late, it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This particular young lady, one of the daughters, one of the sisters, she wanted to go to a party right around the corner with a family that may not have been Christian, but they were all right. I'll say it the way they say it in New York. They're all right. They're all right. All right? They weren't bad people, but they weren't saved and sanctified in the church every minute. So, they didn't get the approval from the mother, who basically ran the household because the father had a nervous condition, right? And she was more the breadwinner and the one who pushed and made those final decisions. No, you're not going. And it hurt her because it wasn't like she was 8 years old. She was already about 16 years old, right? And she was absolutely beautiful, but she wasn't throwing off any sexual vibe. But she had a body and a half on her and a beautiful brown, dark brown complexion, pretty face and everything. I had a crush on her. I used to have her braid my hair so I could just be close to her. You know how when you get your hair braided and you're sitting on the steps and like you're sitting down and she's sitting down behind you, but you're sitting between her legs, but you're leaning back? Oh man, what a lean back I was enjoying. She knew it though. Lancey, you crazy, Lance. I really liked her, but she was my friend's sister, and that's just something that was never in me. To have a good male friend, and I'm gonna mess around with his sister, because he's gonna think, oh, you came around me just for that. I don't do that. If my friends have an old girlfriend or somebody they were dating, even if they messed around in a one-night stand, that's yours, man. I can't mess around with that. I don't know why, but that's the way I am, and I'm glad I'm that way. Well, anyway, she climbed out the window and went to that party anyway. And, they were all in bed a little early because they had some special church function from the crack of dawn they all had to go to. And she was willing to go to it, even tired, but they were having fun around the corner. And I forgot what it is that I had to do, but I was going to go around there too. But nobody else from that family went. Not because they couldn't, because the boys, they were older. There was one younger brother. They could have went, but we played softball with all the brothers out of that household around the corner where the party was going on. So they're like, oh, we hang around them all the time anyway. They ain't feel like going to no party. And it was no big thing anyway, but I think there was a boy that she liked that was going to be there. I think she was driven by that. So she was dancing, I heard, and she danced so hard. She was so glad to get out from bondage. She danced so hard, she threw her back out. A disc was slipped. She could hardly walk. She was in great pain. She had to take the pebbles. See, we didn't have cell phones back then. We didn't have beepers back then. So she took the pebble and threw it up to hit the window where the boys were in the attic. And so, they looked out. They let her slip in. Ooh, don't tell who let you in. I don't know nothing about it, but you in trouble. Because Mom knows that you weren't here. She knows what you went and did. And so she got the whipping that morning when the mother woke up and made her go to church. And she was tired too. Well, anyway, made her go to church. Her back messed up. And of course, that was God punishing her. That was God, letting her know that you don't disobey your parents. God did this to you. you know? And then some of the other ones around her, I'm not saying, I don't know exactly what family members, they were still riding her with this Blackie thing, this rat, Blackie rat, or whatever. You Dusty, you know you so black, you black. And that adds up. Now, she was walking in a way to compensate for the pain. And I know about that because I had a slip disc in 1984 squatting some heavyweight. And there's reasons for it. Man, that pain there. Now, ladies, I know you go through labor sometimes, and the labor pains can be rough, but this thing was crippling. So there was a young lady that I knew that had several children, and she also had a slip disc at one time, extreme. So I asked her, that was my opportunity. I said, listen, you know what a hard labor is. We've talked about that. And you know what extreme nervous, like a pinched nerve is with a slip disc. Tell me something. Which one is worse? Because you've been through both. She said, hands down, it's a slip disc in the back. But see, the only thing with the slip disc, you can lay down a certain way and take the pressure off of it. She said, you ain't getting away from labor until that baby's coming out. I said, okay, now I understand. But that's neither here nor there. She was in great pain in the church. She was in great pain. And the mother took her to different places to get prayed on, but just wouldn't take her to a sports chiropractor. And this is a word of advice for anybody that ever gets in. Oh yeah, Gina E, thank you so much. I'm just seeing your comment. But if you go to a chiropractor for some type of slip disc or some kind of pinched nerve, don't go to a regular chiropractor. Go to a sports chiropractor who will give you adjustments because it's a mechanical issue. Rubbing a cream in your back is not going to manipulate that disc back into place and straighten out your spine. I know this as a fact. Also, in addition to that, there could be some dietary issues, dehydration, too much dairy products, certain things with wheat, too much. I'm not saying you have to abandon that. If you do it, to each his own. But I found out a lot of things when that happened, but do not just go to a quack chiropractor. Go to somebody who's a sports chiropractor where they take the x-rays, they see what the issues are, and they will manipulate, or as we say it, crack your back, which really and truly you should be doing on a regular basis anyway, let me see. Oh yeah, definitely, Xavier. Oh yeah, they'll look after you. When the money talks and the insurance talks, because you walk into a hospital emergency room, you have no insurance, you're gonna be waiting for a long time. If you have insurance, move to the head of the class, right? So, but I can imagine in places they will, the way you look, your color, the way you speak. If you speak as though you've been educated in one of the universities, they might treat you a little better because they say, okay, this is a smart one here. But you can be educated and still dumb. You can be uneducated and be very intelligent. Intelligence has nothing to do with the programming that comes in through schools. But they don't know that. Let me see this one here. Libby Lou says, I've heard some parents refer to their children as black MFers or use their skin tone in a negative way when upset. Exactly. That's verbal abuse. And I'm sure it causes issues with self-love. It does. It does. And this is a pandemic been going on. That's why I chose to speak about it. There's a lot of topics that we got to talk with. I know from the outside we're being attacked. It's a war for real. Yes, it is. It's a war on the real, like the song says. But there's things corroding us on the inside. Things that are breaking down on the inside. And we know how to dress up and go to church or go to functions, or go to the block party or the cookout or the family reunion. Yeah, we can do that. But how many times have we seen a car in that old lemon factory of a car lot looking so good, polished up, rims looking good, windshield, armor all, everything. but it's rotten and rusty on the inside. Now, I'm not saying we are rusty. I'm not saying we're dusty, but there's so much work that we need to focus the energy that we put on the external and turn it inward. You see what I mean? And turn it inward and heal ourselves up. You know, it's just amazing. So as she got older, she internalized all that was fed into her. She felt unattractive. She truly believed that she was unattractive. And anybody who was interested in her, she thought that they were just interested in one thing. And in certain situations, I think maybe that may have transpired, but I'm not sure about that. And she had a really sexy body, except that she did not, and I'm not saying I'm looking at her that way, I just have to put it, so you didn't know her, you didn't see what she looked like, and she wasn't trying to push sexy body. With the thighs and the hips, a little waistline with it, but because the back was messed up for years, and the mother refused to go, and she could have gone on her own, but she was under the mother's rule. Now, you have certain Black households where even if you're 18, 19, 20, and you're still there, it's not like everybody's going to leave when they're 18. She's going to dictate everything, right? So her butt cheek, and I'm not trying to be lewd, right? I think it was the right side of her derriere shrunk noticeably because she had to hold that side of herself up, because if she let it down and relax, the pain was going to punish her. So now she's walking, and so many years went by, her leg actually got shorter and smaller. And this could have been corrected early on. But you combine it with the ignorance of the mother who thought she was doing the right thing by saying, if God don't fix it, that means it's meant to be. No. You take her to a sports chiropractor. Nobody should go to a regular chiropractor, although they're not going to call themselves regularly. You got to go to a sports chiropractor because they'll stretch you out. You have insurance, they're going to milk that insurance. You see what I mean? Tracy J says, let me put this up on the screen. Oh, wrong mouse. Tracy J says, my mother told me recently that my aunt married a light-skinned man because she wanted light children. She was my favorite aunt, but I looked at her differently now, and I wonder if she hates me deep down. Hey, you see, we never know. Sometimes we get treatment from aunts and uncles, and we really don't know why. And lots of times it could be because of your lighter complexion. And they feel, oh, look at her, you're going to have better opportunities than me, you're going to have a better life than me. It's their own internalized hate. That's what it is. And see, sometimes people fool themselves. They know what it is, but they lie to themselves so much that as the years go by, they would never acknowledge it. They would never acknowledge what is so obvious when you grow up. And it's so interesting in families, on all topics, right? Situations. When you think about family, some families are a little more dysfunctional than others. Some have a touch of it, right? But you see your family different when you look back on your family with an adult mind. And then you begin to realize why certain things, certain little glimpses of an expression on somebody's face, or they would say something that was open-ended. You never realize why they said this. And it all comes to the surface when you become an adult who has sense and you can think about it. And then you may have an older family member who might know that now you're able to hear certain things that you weren't told, from something mild to something that may be a little more extreme, you see. So this young lady, but everybody else went on to not have perfect lives. There were little misjudgments here and there, but they were making it. One of the brothers he was incarcerated. He did some stupid things, but when you have a highly religious household where nothing else is acknowledged, and that's another topic, okay? All these topics in the Black community, but yeah, that was a factor in the brother becoming incarcerated. In other words, gay, undercover, HIV, just that family there. And I loved them. I loved them. I have good memories and stuff. I hear old songs from the 70s and stuff like that. But eventually I kind of drifted away, because seeing, it was like a favorite outfit that you had when you were 6 years old, but when you're 8 years old, you can't wear it no more. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do? Keep it in the closet and just look at it? You can't wear it, give it away. So you move on from that. That's what we have to do. Even if we still love people and go around them, but we've moved on, we've grown, you see? And she stayed up under her mother. And this was so many years ago. I think it was when she was 52 and I was a year older than her. So if I'm 61, she would have been 60. Well, that was what? That was, she would pass away at 52 years old. And I saw it on Facebook, and, I change Facebook pages a lot. When I get the troll, I'm going to kill it and add another one. So again, I'm going to say it again. For those who are connected to me on Facebook and you don't see that I'm your friend anymore, it doesn't mean I, unfriended you or blocked you. That the page may not exist, right? And I want to say this again. I have a older Facebook like page. I want to keep on saying that. And I'm actually going to put it in the chat room. And that one it's a like page. I got like 5,584 followers and almost as many likes, right? That's the one I would always post on and build on or whatever. And I have my personal page, which you're cool to go on that too. But I lost access to that like page, see? And in losing access to it, I started another one. Now I'm going to have to take that new one down because the old one is back in effect. So I want to build on that because of the numbers, because of the reach. So I'm going to drop that before the show is over. I'm going to drop that in, but I'm just going to actually get to that page now. I'll wait for it. But she passed away heartbroken. She passed away never knowing what that kind of love, other types of love was like. And I saw a Facebook page of her with her mother. Her face, she was, cheek to cheek like they loved each other. They loved each other. But you can see that I know her. I know her from single digit ages. And she was in deep, deep, deep pain. I'm talking deep, deep, deep pain. And it hurt me to see that picture because I understand how she thought. And just for me being around her a lot, it was like I was dating her, but I was like family to her. So I knew. And it broke my heart to see that she was never, and I wish, I felt so guilty. I was getting deep in my thoughts. I was like, well, maybe if I took her out and showed her some attention, not because I don't really date or mess around with friends' sisters. I just don't do that. I don't want them. It changes the whole dynamic with your friend when you're younger, and it was like, okay, I don't want to do that. But I felt bad because I could have showed her some love, not even looking for sex. I could have showed her just the companionship and the camaraderie. Because when I look back, I had little rotten girlfriends, some of them were rotten, whatever. I'd break the rule. I would have took her to be my girlfriend for a while. Now I'm not gonna say for a while, like, oh, 2 months is done. Who knows, right? But life is funny. It just broke my heart to see her face with that look. And she was trying to smile, but she couldn't hide the pain. And when a mother has a child, I'm not saying I'm somebody's mother, I'm a father, but I'm not a mother. But like when a mother knows a child and they come home from school and something happened in school and they're trying to hide it, and they're like, well, what's wrong? Oh, nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. But you know it. You know it. Here it is. I'm going to drop the link to that particular Facebook page. If you haven't liked it before, like it. I'm going to start posting up stuff and different things there, which is a full-time job with all these other platforms to run. But I'm going to do everything the right way now. And I'm pushing the platform. And I'm not just going for numbers. I want quality. I want quality people. I don't want to be arguing with any trolls. I don't want to get in all of that. I'm not shooting for numbers. I want quality. Like I love to see how everybody greets everybody here. And accepts with open arms new people as long as we're respectful and just have a nice community. In this age group, I am not fascinated by no numbers. I never was. I had numbers at one time, right? But they took that away. I don't care. It's about the core, the few of us. Because like we say, and like I say, you know, I think about 92% of us as Black people, as smart as we are, a lot of us are going to diminish following this other system and being caught up in it. And knowing better and being caught up in it. Like, it's not just 92% dumb Black people. And you don't have to have my ideology, but many are walking the wrong path and don't know at the core, and they're not willing to give up and sacrifice for what's right. You know, and that's what I try to be, you know. Every chop on the tree may not bring the tree down, but eventually you keep chopping, it's going to fall. So every show we do here, talking about different aspects of our community, will open the minds up of somebody. I mean, because there's enough girls around here that can do videos and do all the different types of videos. I know you got the equipment. Let's do some videos like this and like that. So how would that look? Me putting energy into that, you'd be surprised. We got to do a conference call soon so I can tell you some of the things that I'm going through. But yeah, let me continue on with this. Let me scroll back up. I lost my place. But I'll soon put the link out again if anybody wants to come in. And the second one and this is about healing. Educate yourself and others. Learn about the history of colorism and its effects on the Black community. Share this knowledge with others to raise awareness. Celebrate all skin tones. Emphasize the beauty and value of all skin tones within the Black community. Encourage the celebration of diversity in appearance. Affirm your worth. For those affected by colorism, it's crucial to affirm your own worth and beauty, regardless of your skin tone. I mean, heck, this can go for albinos. I mean, they pink. And people will throw off on them like, oh, you ain't Black. You know what I mean? This whole thing, which takes us away from unity. Or I'll unify with you, but you got to know I'm more qualified for the job because I'm light-skinned. They'll never say that, but some people will act that. A sense of entitlement because you have lighter skin. Ain't it so? Promote positive representation. Support and uplift media and cultural representations that showcase the diversity of Black beauty. Seek therapy. For individuals deeply affected by colorism, therapy can provide a safe space to work through feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem. Foster open dialogue. Encourage open and honest conversations within families about colorism and its effects. This can help to heal rifts and build understanding. Build stronger family bonds. Focus on strengthening family relationships by valuing each member for their character and qualities rather than their appearance. Mentorship and support. Provide mentorship and support to younger generations to help them build confidence and self-worth, free from the constraints of colorism. Yes, because when they should be building up their confidence and self-worth, this world and the ignorance of colorism is tearing it down. And how are you going to build something strong with a weak foundation? But this keeps us in that space. You see what I mean? And it's crazy. Colorism within the Black family is a deeply rooted issue that stems from a history of systemic oppression and internalized racism. The preference for lighter skin has created divisions within families and communities, perpetrating a cycle of self-hate and discrimination that continues to affect Black people today. The impact of colorism is profound, affecting everything from self-esteem to relationship choices and even professional opportunities. However, healing from the wounds of colorism is possible by acknowledging the issue educating ourselves and others, and promoting positive representation, we can begin to dismantle the harmful beliefs and biases that have been passed down through generations. It's essential for Black families to come together to celebrate the diversity of Black beauty, build stronger bonds, and foster an environment where every individual is valued for who they are, rather than the color of their skin. Only then can we begin to heal the divisions that colorism has created and move toward a future where all Black people are truly free to embrace their identity with pride and confidence. And so now I'm going to drop the link again. If anybody wants to come in and say anything, feel free. If not, it's cool, because I'll talk your ears off another 3 hours. No, I'm all right. I just want to be consistent with these shows. Oh, that's the Facebook link, y'all. Hit it again. Let me get the real invite link. You ever do that? You copy and paste something if you forgot what you copied and you want to paste something different, but you didn't, you just drop it in again. Boom, it's like something else. I had a friend of mine, and he was clergy, religious guy. He was going to the school to be a pastor, whatever. What do you call it again? Oh God, what's the word? I don't know. So and so school, right? Anyway, he was like, Lance, why don't you check out this thing, man? This boxing match, because we were in the boxing. You know, he went his way with that whole thing, but we were still cool until our boxing and bodybuilding, all that stuff. You know, because he was into all of that stuff. So he copied and pasted a link to a porn site. I'm like, that's what you were looking at, man? Oh, man, you know, I knew somebody in that movie. That don't make no excuses, man. You know you were looking at that. See, I could joke with him that way because we know each other from back in the day. But yeah, if anybody wants to come on in before I sign off, you know, I do have some shorts that I did. I think I did like 4 of them. I'm going to upload those to YouTube soon tonight. I have another conversation I did with a young lady. I have 2 short ones, like, man, 15, 20 minutes. They're very interesting. And those will be going up tonight also. So there's more stuff to chew on. And for sure, tomorrow night will be another show at the same time, 5 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock my time out here in West Africa. But look for the improvements. And like I said, when Starlink hits the Lancescurv show platform, things are going to be so much better. And that studio, yeah, very, 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 very soon, before the month is out, before September's out, it's going to be completed. And if I have to push it back so much, I'm not going to push it back. So don't try to, you know, put me with my brother who says everything 3 times. Hit the cash app, hit the cash app, hit the cash app. Don't humorize me. No, I'm not putting him down. I'm just saying, you know, he has a very effective but sometimes comical delivery. You know, yeah, I fell off with the shorts in the last couple of days here, man, Guns, because I had so much to do. Oh, I had so much to do. And shorts are easy to do, but I like to rattle off a bunch of them. And it's like one of the nights I went out there and it was dark. I don't care. I got my little light that I put up and everything. I put on the mosquito repellent all over. It's a healthy brand that's not full of chemicals. It's a natural thing. Man, those mosquitoes said, you know what? We don't care about that. That's food. We're going to eat that food and we're going to get to the skin. As soon as I went out there, I was like, why is this thing not working now? But I had a lot of natural sugar in my veins too. So, you know, but they love those ankles, y'all. Whenever you put mosquito lotion on, I don't care if you have pants and socks, cover them ankles because the veins are right there and they love it. And these mosquitoes, I'm straight up, they have intelligence. I could be laying in the room with the light on and say, they go one over there. And he's going to hit you up on the wall and wait. Like, yeah, we're going to wait for you to fall asleep. We're going to have all you can eat, you know? Golden Corral style. You're going to be on the plate. Yeah. And you wake up and you think, yeah, that's that mosquito. I chased him out the room or something. Always finds a way to come back and get you. Always, without fail. You just got to be careful out here because that malaria is prominent. Now, not every mosquito has it. It's only nocturnal females and a certain type of nocturnal female mosquito that will give it to you. So that's heartwarming to know, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna take another sip. I'm gonna wind down. Give me a second, y'all. 10 seconds, y'all. Mm-mm-mm. Guess I'll be up all night tonight because I'm gonna drink me some nice water, a little lemon juice in there, and some little healthy snacks. Keep myself hydrated. You know, don't let Father Time get a chance to get at me. Father Time gets us all though. You know. Oh, let me Xavier. I did have a question. Do you find the skin bleaching to be more of a problem for more developed areas? Great question. Great question. Let me see. I can make a case for both for less developed areas because it's a way of coming out in the mind of the people who are caught up in colorism. And they don't know that they're caught up in this thing called colorism. I don't even know what colorism is. They do it. And then in the more developed areas, you have people who are competitive and feel that their complexion is lighter, especially in corporate America. And all over the place, even the young girls who, you know, for a while, we all know this. I can't give you a date when it started, a date when it ended, it got better, but you know that the videos back in the days, back in the 90s especially, it was always lighter complected black women or what they would call Afro Latinas or whatever, you know, everything else looking. It could be a black woman that had the features that look European. You know, the wider nose was never celebrated. The thicker lips were never celebrated. Only for carnal reasons in the middle of the night to perform a certain acts. That's what it is. But other than that, I was reading another article because I read a lot of articles. I watch videos too, but I read a lot. And sometimes it causes me to go further. Okay, let me go deeper in this topic. Maybe suggest something else or suggest something else. And it'll be something in my head that I fall asleep on and it marinates in my head. But this is kind of unrelated, but it's related. That when white men, and this was a African article that I wrote out here. It wasn't Ghana. It was another country. They said when white men go after black African women, they don't want the lighter skin, whatever. They fetishize the black African woman. They just don't want one with a nice looking shape and nice brown skin, pretty, whatever. No, they gotta have the big, round, whatever, the thickest lips, the widest nose, better have an afro. That's what they get into because they fetishize these women. You see what I mean? And my thing is, that's bad energy because you focusing on that and fetishizing. It's a sex thing. That's how it's always been with them, right? But why can't some of us appreciate our sisters more so like that? You see what I mean? I don't understand. Indians and Jamaicans, you're right. I would say so. If there was a poll put out there, I would say so. You know? Let me see here. Dark skin has never been a beauty standard for women, so dark skinned women is automatically deemed as unattractive to the general public, even if she's well groomed. Exactly. It's like you can never be enough. It's like no matter what you do. And so some of these will, you know, just give in. I want to really go into this some more, like ASAP. Within the next 7 days, I want to speak about bleaching again. I had a real good bleaching show that I did on the old channel. Poof, it's gone. But we're going to talk about it. And I want to talk about the things that affect us in an intelligent way, bringing some facts. Because anybody can make videos and put up a celebrity and talk some lie about them or whatever have you. And there's always times when you find out things. And a lot of things I find out that I'm not going to repeat. That pretty much may be facts from the sources that I get it from. But I don't go, from my source, this is this. So what good is it to tear somebody down that's well known? You know what I mean? I found out some stuff today. I was like, oh man, I hope not. You know? Let me see here. It's madness, Xavier says, because the skin bleach is only that skin deep. It won't change the genetics your kids are born with. Exactly. Exactly. And it's big out here also. You know? The whole bath of these people are taking, and it goes right back when you're done. So what are you doing? You're hurting yourself. You're hurting your liver, your internal organs. Even the hair relaxer, it messes you up from the inside. The scalps are rotten. You talk to any mortician, they'll tell you. When they have to go and do certain things, and it's messed up. Why? The subject. Look, I know, and I'm not saying this in a lustful way, but I know some drop dead, gorgeous, beautiful women out here in Africa, in Ghana. And they got that stuff caked up on their face. They don't even put it on their face and walk around with it. Put it on their face and walk around down to the market looking like a ghoul. Like, you got, what's all this cream on your face for? Hey, I want to be beautiful. So you're telling me you're not, right? Oh, that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, anyway, my voice is still, because I was talking earlier again today, but that was business. I'm so happy to have this Starlink coming to help build the platform better, to help upload older videos that I have at lightning speed and not use the gigabytes down so much. It is what it is. Like Tracy J says, the hair relaxer, which is called the creamy crack. Yeah, causes ovarian cancer and other types of cancer in women. That's reason enough. It's reason enough to not do that. But we all think, I'm not saying all of us or anybody here, but it doesn't matter because dead man's makeup. Exactly. So yeah, don't want to go, but I got to get these other pieces of stuff up and regain my title as a short king. I think I got 4 to put up. I was going to go do 10, but it got dark. The day flew. The time went by so fast. We're out of August already. August came in and left. I'm trying to slow time down. The older I get, the more I'm trying to, you know what I mean? I don't want to rush and get fast. I got work to do, and then we got good conversations to have. You know what I mean? But I'm always open for suggestions for shows, just like Xavier brought that really great question. I got to ponder that before I give a definitive answer, but I would say in the more developed areas, it might be worse because of the competitiveness and to have that look and to have, I think it, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere. You'd be surprised. I know a lady here who doesn't like her kids to play out in the sun. Oh, you're going to get a heat stroke. Oh, please. These kids are durable. They're born here. You just don't want them darker. That's so sick. That's sick. Anyway, y'all, like I said, thank you. Thank you, Xavier, and everybody who's here. This is what I do. I don't feel right if I don't do something or speak out on something. The least I can do is speak out on something. The thing is, people think I just speak on YouTube, but I don't. I speak in person. And if I have to not to show off and say, I'm walking amongst the street, amongst the people, just yelling out, no, I'm not doing that. But I want to videotape some reactions to some conversations with real people out here randomly. I'll even throw them 5 CDs for their answer, which is the equivalent of what? You know what I mean? But it wouldn't hurt me. You know what I mean? Like, get 20 people. Okay, 5 CDs, get 20 answers. Let's try to hold them as long as we can. Let's ask a question of the week. And I have you all decide that and whittle it down. You know what I mean? And I'm out here. I'll go out there. If I got to spend 4 or 5 hours, I'll chill. I'm setting up a little spot next to one of the sellers that's selling the market out there. And she's like, anytime you want to come down here, I'm bored out here. But she has people around her. But I said, listen, I'm going to bring my tripod down here and let it roll. And we're going to stop people. We're going to ask them questions. And I'll slip them a couple of CDs for the answer because they'll stop now. They'll talk. You wave that money, you know what I mean? They'll be ready. And you get quality there. You know what I mean? But yeah. So anyway, like I said, let me run. And we'll be back tomorrow. I'll make up the topic. I'll make sure it's something good. And we're going to roll on it, right? So anyway, much love to you all. Take care. Lancescurv out. On to the next one. It's been highly enjoyable. I can't get enough. And I love you all. Peace.
Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real, might get you canceled. The whole system need to dismantle. Coppers treated like the utmost wanted. Tryna rule the block but don't know what goes on it. News got a story with a new take on me. Carrying out the window with the screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my burn 95 degrees and I can't get sunburn. Wonder when your government don't make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my please, Brad, I earned that. 400 years, how you still ain't learned that? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Shout out to the trying to gentrify the genre. Tell them free my middle finger to your honor. End of days coming down the seconds on the timer. Goofy still trying to purchase that designer. About to buy, learn to grow my own food. Cause I don't like the look they give me in the Whole Foods. And when you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. But it ain't on me now, I'm limping cause my heavy. But ain't sweet, think we thin. My whole attitude on MC Ren. It's my neighborhood now, Bob, I bought that. 400 years, how you still ain't caught that? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out.
Welcome to the mind of Lancescurv, the most creatively profound man in cyberspace. Welcome to the mind of...
So, hello, this is Martha. Actually, today I got to meet my friend Lance. Yes, I got to meet my friend Lance. This is my first time meeting him in person, and he's a very kind man, seriously. I do talk with him on phone, on WhatsApp, but I've never got to meet him. But today, he's just extraordinary. He's very, anything you want to know about life, anything you want to know about just human, anything you want to know about life, please. YouTube, Telegram, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media channels, you got to find him there. He's very inspiring. He's very positive. If you want anything positive about life, please subscribe to Lancescurv. And then every day you got to see different videos, different talks, different topics about life. See you.